Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the free hour. It's your boy Tree Trevor Turner, back with another video. Back again with another episode of the free hour ABCs, the ABCs of Tree. And today we're on the letter Q, and we're going to be talking about quitting. And I know the first thing that we think about when we hear the word quit, we think about giving up. We think about the things that we're striving for, the things that we want to do in our dreams and all that stuff. We think about throwing those things to the side. But today, man, I'm going to talk about the things that we actually need to stop fucking doing to get to those dreams. Today, man, for the letter Q, we're going to be talking about 10 things that we need to quit right the fuck now if we want to succeed. If we want to get to that higher level of vibration, if we want to get to that higher level of intensity, if we want to get to the point where we can act on our highest level of excitement every day. Now, I've done a lot of these things already. I've quit a lot of things. I quit a bad lifestyle. I quit putting bad substances in my body. I quit being lazy. I quit doing a lot of these different things, man. So this is something that I can personally attest to for a lot of these different things. And in the past, just the past, since I got out, like progress after progress after progress of things just being attracted to me, things going well for me being able to succeed in situations where I was never able to succeed before because I quit doing certain things. A lot of times what happens is that we just focus on trying to add more to our life without trying to remove a lot of the bullshit that we need to remove. And this is where we're going to get into it, man. This is 10 things we need to quit to be successful. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to quit negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is when we let our insecurities run rampant. Negative self-talk is when we actually look at the experiences that we've had, when we actually look at the failures that we've had, we look at the setbacks that we've had, and we let those run our life. We say, you know what? I look at the fact that I haven't been able to succeed in what I want to do up until this point as an example or as a proof positive of the fact that I'm not capable of doing it. I haven't been able to lose weight, so I'm not capable of losing weight. I haven't broke out in this industry that I want to break out into, so I'm incapable of doing it. I haven't been able up until this point to do well in school, so I shouldn't go back to school. And a lot of times we let those insecurities run rampant. We let that negative self-talk, we let those no's overpower our yeses. And what happens is that causes us to actually vibrate at a lower vibration. One of the things that we do is we take our dreams, we take our goals, and we run them through this filter of negative self-talk and negative bullshit and saying, no, well, that part I won't be able to do, or that part I haven't been able to do up until this point, or you know what, I shouldn't go talk to that person. Like, why would they want to hear from me? Or I shouldn't even make this video, man. Like, what could I possibly have to offer to people that they would want to hear from me about? And we need to stop with that negative self-talk, because one of the things that happens is, and we went over this with a couple of the different videos that we've done, is that our subconscious mind takes those negative things and it brings those things to pass because we let those negative self analysis, we let that negative self talk, we let that destructive mode of thinking dominate our frame of mind. We let it dominate the thoughts that are going on in our conscious mind, so our subconscious mind picks up on that and acts on it. And the reason we need to quit that is because it's only going to take us down. It's never going, the negative self-talk, the self-criticism is never going to make us that stronger person. It's never going to help hold us accountable. It's always just going to keep us stuck in that same loop of negative and destructive bullshit. And the way we quit that is we replace it with positive self-talk. We replace it with positive affirmations. We replace it with constant visualization of the things we want instead of constant worry of the things we don't want. Because we attract what we think about. We attract what we think about. So when we're constantly thinking about what it is that we do want, we're constantly visualizing ourselves taking the steps to getting what we do want. We're constantly being grateful for the things that are coming our way, that we do want to come our way. We erase that negative self-talk instead of letting that self-talk, letting that criticism, letting those insecurities, letting those bouts of low self-confidence, letting those worries and those anxieties rule the day. We replace them with our positive self-talk. And that's how we start to actually open up our mindset to being able to do those things. Because the negative self-talk won't let you believe that you're capable of doing those things. And if you don't believe you're capable of doing it, you're not going to be able to bring yourself to do all the steps necessary to get there. All right? So next, quit procrastination. You need to quit procrastinating. So we all know the feeling of putting things off. We need to stop doing that. We need to stop putting off for tomorrow what could be done today. And there's a video going around. God, I hope this is true because I'll be quoting a lot of videos I see on social media in this one. And I hope they're true. There's an old Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Never does anybody say that the best time to do something is tomorrow. If you want to succeed at something, if you want to transform your life, if you want to get to something new and get to something positive, do it right now. That means that even if you need to close this video because you've been scrolling on YouTube too long already, I ain't tripping. Do that shit. Close the video, get to the gym. Close the video, start writing what you want to write. Close the video, go spend time with your kids. Close the video and do what it is that you got to do. Okay? Now, how we replace a procrastinating mindset with an action mindset or action, is we start to develop routine. And we start to develop a routine that includes small victories, small habits that lead to small victories. These smaller victories will lead to bigger and bigger and bigger accomplishments, bigger and bigger victories. And it's one of the things that I'm going through with school right now. And I tell people this all the time. If you get a paper, if you get assigned a paper and it's due in a few weeks, you start doing it that day. And that means that you have the opportunity to just write it little by little by little. So that way you're not trying to do all of it the week before it's due. Do all of it a couple days before it's due. Do all of it the night before it's due. Because that's what procrastination does to us. It overwhelms us on the back end. What happens is that the best way to do it is to chip away at it every single day, every single moment. Just chip away at shit, chip away at shit, chip away at shit, chip away at shit. Because what's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Every journey, a journey of 10,000 miles begins with a single step. Break things down in your mind. Break things down into weekly tasks, into daily accomplishments, into a daily or weekly view. Instead of looking at it as this big, huge whole picture, look at it as what can I do today? Write a couple sentences, write a paragraph, whatever the case may be. Research one article, write down some notes, get your quotes going. And that is the best way to stop the procrastination. Think about these tasks in the view or through the lens of where is it going to take you when you get it done, and start doing it in a dedicated fashion, but in small ways. So you're not looking at it like, dang, I got to do this whole paper. No, you're saying today I got to do a couple sentences. Today I got to do a paragraph. Today I got to read a piece of an article. Today I got to skim through a book. Today I have to do this. Today I have to do that. And what happens is that you're taking these small tasks, and these small tasks build up to the whole thing. Instead of looking at this huge building that you have to build, this huge tower that's going to go into the skies, this huge goal and these huge dreams that you want to get to. Like you want to be a best-selling author. But instead of thinking about the series of books that you want to be your legacy, think about that one page that you have to write today. That's how we stop procrastinating. Next, quit toxic relationships. Quit toxic relationships. This is as simple as that, man. We need to look at our types. If we're constantly getting into toxic relationships, if we are constantly putting ourselves in those things, one of the things that we have to look at first is ourselves. We have to look at where we are, what level are we vibrating at? What are we manifesting into our lives? What are we inviting into our lives? What are we attracting to us? If that's all we get is toxicity, all we get is toxicity. Maybe we the toxic ones. We need to rethink that. We need to rethink our mindset about things. Now, once we've actually started on this journey and started to change ourselves and started to work on ourselves and started to unpack our blue beads. I always talk about blue beads because of that one pastor that he had the cups filled up with beads, and every time that these cups banged against each other, the beads would fly out and they would be always accusing each other. You made that come out of me. You did that to me. You brought that to me. No, those things came out of you because they were already in you. Those things that came from your childhood traumas, those things that came from your past relationships, those things that you carry with you without even realizing because you've never taken the time to unpack it, is what you bring into a relationship. So once you've started to unpack those beads, once you've started to unpack those things, now you have to start taking a look at, really objectively, the people that you want in your life. And you have to say, why is it that I want this person into my life? Are they familiar? Are they the archetype? Do they fit into the mold of everybody else who's been into my life? Who has been toxic? Who has been bad for me? Who has done me wrong? Who I have allowed to do these things? Am I setting boundaries? Am I setting two different rules, two different sets of rules for like the general public or the people that I really like? That person who just looks real good and smells real good and dresses real nice, or maybe has a little bit of something that I like, or whatever the case. Or for fellas, like she got woos, she got all of that. Am I bending the rules for her? Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to keep my level of accessibility. I'm going to keep my boundaries. I'm going to keep my timelines. I'm going to keep myself secure, right? For this general group of people, but then bending it for these other people. And then also, am I recognizing red flags? Am I recognizing red flags? And am I doing what what I used to do? We always used to joke about this shit, me and my boy. Yeah, for me, red means go. Ooh, red flags? Ooh, shit, I love them. Like green flags? What the fuck? I don't know. That's boring. I don't like that shit. Like, oh, you stay home? I'm cool. I want somebody who goes out to the club so I can argue with him about going out to the club later on. Like, and we don't consciously say these things, but these are the type of things that we go after subconsciously. We need to recognize those red flags. We need to recognize, are there things that I do not like about the things that this person does, but because of the way they look, or because of the way they talk to me, or because of the way they treat me a little bit at the beginning, am I willing to look past all of these things that I know are going to come around to bite me in the ass later on? And we need to say that, you know what? Maybe I need to start taking care of my own feelings and stop worrying about the feelings of other people so much. A lot of times after we've been in these toxic situations for so long, we stop worrying about my own happiness. We stop worrying about us in the long run, and we start worrying about, you know what, I can't just leave them like that. I can't just leave them hanging like that. I can't just leave them stuck like that. And we have to say, you know what, fuck that. By doing that, I'm leaving myself stuck. By doing that, I'm leaving myself high and dry. By doing that, I'm leaving myself hanging. And then we have to get away from just the idea of like uncomfortability. A lot of us are so uncomfortable with being alone. And hopefully, not only watching my stuff, but hopefully with this soul searching that we've been doing, hopefully the type of people who are watching my stuff, they're watching other people's stuff. Hopefully we are able to be introspective enough. Hopefully we are able to look at ourselves enough. And hopefully we are be able to accept ourselves enough to be able to be alone with ourselves, to where we're looking at the mirror and being like, oh, I hate everything I see, or I need validation from somebody else, or I just don't want to be alone. I'm tired of sleeping in bed by myself. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of watching all my favorite shows by myself. I'm tired of eating by myself. I'm tired of doing all of this by myself because I cannot stand the idea of being by myself. It's okay to not want to be alone. But it is not okay to hate being alone so much that you will let anybody and everybody fill that position. Okay? That was toxic relationships. Next, quit comparing yourself to others. Quit comparing yourself to others. Now, this is just something for me. I used to do this a lot. I used to compare where I was in my life with other people and just automatically like, oh, I'm a failure. But then I would turn around and see somebody else who was quote unquote behind me and let it be the excuse for my complacency. Let it be the excuse for my lack of effort, right? We need to stop comparing ourselves to others and only compare ourselves to ourselves. And I'm just going to give you the examples of it from my perspective, right? When I look at myself, and I compare myself to other people who do what I do, if I got stuck in that trap, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now at all. I wouldn't be trying to excel in school because I would say, you know what? The people who excel in school, the people who are able to study abroad, the people who are able to go to places like prestigious schools and get their education and get really good jobs, they don't have records like that. But what I did was I stopped comparing myself to them and started comparing myself to me a few years ago. And this me can succeed where that me could not. This me doesn't care how many followers this other person has. This me doesn't care about how this other person is bringing about, how fast or how quickly this other person got it, or how slowly this other person is getting it. This person only cares now about how much better I am than I was yesterday. And that's it. That's how we replace that. Because if we're always trying to keep up with the Joneses, we're going to stay broke, we're going to stay unhappy, and we're going to stay searching for that next thing to make us happy, because we're always going to be chasing what we think that other person has. Instead of chasing who we know we can be, we're chasing what we think that person is and trying to emulate that person, trying to be like that person, and getting away from our own selves, getting away from us. Comparing myself to other people would have me doing this next thing too much. And the next thing is quitting perfectionism. We have to quit perfectionism. Perfectionism is the death. Perfect is the death of good in a lot of times. A lot of times what we do is we chase perfectionism so much that we will never pull the trigger on the things that are good enough. And it goes hand in hand with comparing myself to others, right? Because when I first got out, I had been making these plans from the time I was in the county jail. I'm going to do this series. I'm going to do this video. I'm going to do these book reviews. I'm going to do all of this shit, right? And when I got out, I'm starting to look at other people doing this stuff, and they have like this great video quality, and they have these great environments they do this stuff, or they're up on stage and they got cameras, or they getting paid. They doing all this stuff. They got all these nice clothes that, they always got their haircuts nice. They always got this. They always got that. They're doing it from these nice cars. They're like this, right? I'm comparing myself to others and thinking that I need to make the product that I am trying to give like so much better than what I feel like I was capable of delivering at the time. And if I had done that, I never would have made the first video, because I was doing it on that Obama phone. If you go back and look at my first videos, I'm doing it on an Obama phone. The next batch of videos were on a Chromebook until I finally got this. Now you can actually see what the fuck I look like. If I had chose to wait on the perfect, I would have threw the baby out with the bathwater. I would have threw the good out with the bad. I would have threw the good enough out with the bad. I would have threw out the message for trying to chase the aesthetic. Don't throw out the good for the perfect. Don't throw out being authentic and being true to yourself, trying to chase a level of perfection that you might not even be able to actually get to, because a lot of times when we think about that level of perfection, we're putting it through the lens of what other people have already delivered, instead of saying, is this my perfect? Is this the best that I can do? Is this the best that I can bring? Or is this going to be beneficial to other people? Right? So, and that's where we need to quit perfectionism. And one of the things that I saw is another video, like I said, man, when we talk about perfectionism, There's a video I seen. He was talking about a pottery class, talking about he had one batch of students do only one project. He had another batch of students try to do quantity, right? And the people who did just the one, trying to chase the perfection, they did one, right? And it was really good quality. But the people who just did quantity after quantity after quantity, and they kept putting their best into trying to making all these things and making all of them better at the same time, they not only made more, obviously, but they made better quality than the people who were chasing perfection. A lot of times you have to show up to the game to get better for the next game. You can't be stuck in practice every single day. All right, so next, quit fear of failure. Quit fear of failure. You have to quit being so scared of falling that you never get on the bike. You have to quit being so scared of hurting yourself that you never put yourself back out there. You have to quit fearing the mistakes that are actually going to give you the best learning experiences that you can get, right? We are so scared of falling and scraping our knees. We are so scared of falling off of that horse that we never get on that motherfucker. We never try to do what it is that we want to do. We're scared of what other people are going to say. We're scared of whether other people are going to be receptive to it. We're scared of if we're going to be capable of it or not. And the thing about it is that a lot of times, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, you are capable of doing what you want to do. You just don't do it because you're so scared of what might happen if you end up messing up. But think about all them times you fell down as a kid. Think about all them times that you fell off that skateboard. Think about all them times you fell off the bike trying to learn. Think about even when you was a baby. How many times did you fall over trying to walk? And if you had let that failure, if you had let them setbacks, if you had let all of that deter you from doing anything, we would all still be crawling around today. And I would just imagine like an office building where everybody's just crawling through that motherfucker, going to their phones, everything's on the floor and shit, because everybody is so scared of failure. Everybody is so scared to fall that they never even try to get up and walk. And we look at the people walking around like they're gods or something. You need to step up and stop being scared of failure. You was put here for a reason, and that reason was not to be mediocre. So just do it. So next, quit making excuses. Quit making excuses. Just stop. Just stop it. We all know excuses and we all know that they're bullshit. Yeah, but I mean, I can't do it because of this, or I can't do it because of that, or I can't do it because they won't let me, or what they're saying is this, or you know what, I'm not in the best of shape, or whatever the case is. Just do that shit. Start it. Start it. Just start it. Just do it. And here's the thing, people respect it more, and you'll respect yourself more if you just said no. Just say no. Like if you don't want to do some shit, just say no. Don't make excuses for why you can't do it. Don't try to convince yourself not to do it, and don't try to convince other people why you can't do it. Because here's the thing, people know that you're capable. You know that you're capable. Either you're going to do it. If you want to do it, just do it. Stop making the excuses for it. If you don't want to do it, just say no. But stop making the excuses for it, because the excuses don't mean shit. They really don't mean shit. The excuses are not like actual barriers to you doing this shit. The excuses are just the reasons you tell yourself you're not going to do the shit. They're useless. Stop making excuses. Quit saying yes to everything. Have boundaries. Have your personal time. Have that bigger yes inside of you that allows you to say no. And this kind of goes back to Covey. When we're talking about the 7 habits of highly effective people, when we talk about our quadrant-based time management system, when we talk about the things that we're trying to do to get ourselves better, those quadrant 2 things, those things that are important to us, but not necessarily urgent. Because one of the things that the trap we can get into is if we're trying to hit every urgent thing, maybe it'll be a 50-50 split between those things are urgent and important to us and urgent and important to our coworkers, or important to our boss, or important to other people who are involved in projects, or whatever the case may be, right? So when we are asked to do all these things, and a lot of times, sometimes it might be peer pressure too, or sometimes it might be your friends trying to have you do some shit you don't want to do, or people trying to make you kind of bend your morals or whatever the case, we need to go back and we need to reassess and have those important things that we're trying to get to make us able to say no. It's that bigger yes. The only way you can say no is to have a bigger yes. And this goes along with the stop making excuses. Because if you really want something to pop, if you really want something to happen, you're going to do something regardless of the reasons that other people say you shouldn't do it. The only people making excuses for the things that you really, really want to do should be other people, not you. You should be trying to make that shit pop. You should be trying to go and just get on it and do whatever you need to do regardless, right? And this is also about quitting saying yes to everything, knowing that it is the shit that you want to do and the shit that you want to get done is going to allow you to say no. It's going to allow you to have boundaries. It's going to motivate you to say, you know what, I'm cool. Not realizing that every no doesn't break everybody's heart. Every time you say no to somebody about going out, every time you say no to somebody about going out drinking or doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing that's going to affect the bottom line or whatever the case, or every time you say no to somebody trying to get you to involve or commit your time away from time that you need to involve and commit to that bigger yes that you got, you'll realize you'll be able to say no, and it's not going to be a feeling thing into it. It's not going to be about people pleasing. It's going to be about pleasing you and realizing that those people are going to respect it. At the end of the day, they're going to respect it. And if they're not, then fuck them anyway and let them leave, period. If you have people that can't respect the fact that you got other shit and better shit to do with your time, and that's why you're saying no, and you don't got to say, look, man, fuck no. Fuck what you got going on. And I'll just say, look, man, I'm cool. I got some other shit I'm doing. And you don't have to explain yourself, and you don't have to give them why, and you don't have to give them 1,000 reasons why you can't do what it is they want you to do, why you can't join in on the shit that they trying to do, because you have that bigger yes. And if those people can't accept it, then fuck them. And a lot of times when we are getting stuck in that loop of saying yes to all this bullshit is because we do have too many toxic people in our life that see us trying to chase and see us trying to pursue other shit, right? And we need to cut them people out of our life anyway. So next, quit negative habits. Quit negative habits. And this is something that I learned, like this is something I struggled with a lot. And I learned this and I was finally able to do it and break through it very recently. Quitting negative habits like drinking, smoking, quitting like other shit, playing with my nose, all this shit, right? There are a lot of negative habits that will hinder us from doing what it is that we know we want to do and that we know we need to do. But on an even baser level, quitting those negative habits will just instantly boost you mentally, spiritually, emotionally, right? Quitting those negative habits, getting away from that shit that weighs you down will just make you a happier, healthier person. When we don't have those things, those anchors on us, when we don't have those things that we constantly think about, like, I wish I could stop doing this shit, right? We immediately just become 2 steps above where we were before. Immediately. I'm talking about when I got popped and I was in there, I got popped 3 days after my birthday. So you can imagine I was still on, I was still drunk, all of that, right? When I got popped, after everything got out of my system, all the weed, all the alcohol, all everything else got out of my shit, right? All the pills, the perks and everything. When I got to that point, I immediately was like a step up higher than I was mentally, just from not doing that shit, right? And then when I got into the habit, when I got away from bad eating habits, I got even another step up. When I got away from bad sleeping habits, I got even another step up. Like, it was not even about me adding all of these new things to my mindset. It was not even about me adding these new goals or this new purpose or anything. I was steps above myself exponentially better than I was before, simply from removing those things from my life. Even if you don't have all of this shit to add, you can get rid of a lot of habits, eating habits, drug habits, caffeine habits, nicotine habits. Weed is arguable, whatever. I know some people that, for me, I just don't do it. But for, other people, I don't know. I'm not even going to say it's a negative habit, period. But smoking, fucking up your lungs like that, like, I don't like that. I don't think it's cool. Like tobacco shit, whatever. So like, if you wrap your shit in tobacco, we're going to say like nicotine, that's fucked up. Caffeine, bad eating habits, bad sleeping habits, bad habits of procrastination, like all the shit that we've been talking about. When you quit those things, you will just become steps and steps and steps and steps above what you were before. So the last thing we're going to talk about, quit living in the past. Quit living in the past. You need to let go of past mistakes. You need to let go of the things that you feel like you've done wrong. You need to let go of those things so that you can move into the future, so that you can move into a better future. One of the things also is that we, as people, if we feel like our peak happened in the past, we're stuck on that peak instead of realizing that we live like this. Human beings live like this. We have peaks and valleys. Yeah, human beings, we got a prime. We have a time when we are in our prime in certain different ways, in certain different areas. But the thing about it is, if we get stuck in that and we let that weigh us down, or we let that pull us back, or we let that keep us from striving because we feel like we've already passed something, well, you'll never be able to get nowhere. You'll never be able to get nowhere. And not only can you not live in the past, you can't live in the future. Stuck in the future with anxieties, stuck in the future with worries, stuck in the future about things that might or might not even come around the corner. There's something you do today that might reshape that entire future that you are stuck focusing on, worrying about in your head, right? You need to quit getting there. You need to be present in the moment. All right, so today we talked about 10 things you need to do, 10 things you need to quit doing now to get success and to become a better person. And if you quit these 10 things, you'll gain like increased focus. You'll get good mental health, all of that, enhanced physical health, enhanced mental health, spiritual health, social health, all of that stuff. It'll just help you to strive for it and make yourself better. All right. Thank you very much for watching. This has been your boy Tree, 3 Hour ABCs of Tree, and this has been the letter Q. Deuces.